Hey guys, it's Bismoto. Today I'm out on my GSX S750. Picked it up about, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago now. Just going for a little ride. This is actually a really nice bike to learn how to ride. I mean, it's not a beginner bike, I wouldn't say, but it's a step up from your beginner bike, I guess. It's an easy bike to move up to, like if you had like a 300 or something. The power delivery is smooth. It's not going to take off and do a wheelie on you right away. The power curve on this one's a little higher, so it makes most of its torque at around 6,000 RPMs plus. So very easy to ride. This bike's got blip assist for when you start out. You don't have to give it any throttle. You could just let out the clutch. See, I'm letting out the clutch and it takes off on its own. It just gives it a little bit more RPM so it could take off without stalling. So it makes it very easy to learn how to, how to ride a sport bike like this, I guess, without having to worry about accidentally giving it too much throttle when you start out or not enough. But yeah, I'm glad I got this bike. I'm glad I traded in my 300F. 300F was just running too high RPMs all the time, where this is so much better for cruising and stuff. And when you want to go fast, it will go fast. So this bike is 114 horsepower. Don't remember the torque specs on it. They say it's close to the MT-09, but it like I said, the torque starts at a higher RPM because of the 4-cylinder. You go. But yeah, the power's there when you want it. You just gotta have it up there in the RPMs. Where when you're going, when you're going like these speeds, it has enough torque to get you going and moving and stuff. But it's smooth power, which is good for somebody who's moving up to a bigger bike and they're not used to it. I mean, it's working for me so far, so. And it's got, I guess it'd be 3 modes of traction control, but actually I guess it's 4 because you could actually turn it off too. You got like a low setting, when you turn it on, you got a low setting traction control, then you got a medium, which is number 2, and then you got traction control number 3, which is the one I've been using a lot lately, just because I want to make sure I don't do anything stupid to wipe out now that I'm getting used to this bike. But you can see this bike's got, it'll move. This bike is 749 cc's. Which I call it a 750. This bike doesn't have ABS. The only bike that had ABS in this option was it's flat black, and that was the only version you could get with the ABS. And I wouldn't want a flat black anyway. It's like that's what everybody's getting nowadays, it seems like. So yeah, I'm not one for flying through the corners. I'm always afraid that somebody's gonna pull out or something out of one of these driveways or something. But and if I had a little bit more faith in my driving, I should probably take a class, a motorcycle class for this kind of stuff. The exhaust on this bike is not very loud at all. Most of the noise comes from the airbox. They designed the airbox to give it a throaty sound, like when you give it gas. So you guys can probably hear it. Yeah, this bike will get up to 100 in probably a couple seconds. It's pretty quick. I personally haven't done it yet. I have done around 85 or so far. But to me, when you start getting around the 85 range, to me, the bike starts to feel uncomfortable, and that's any bike I ride, because you start getting blown around and all that stuff, you know. And I don't really like fighting the wind all the time, so. But this bike is fun, because when you want the power, it's definitely there. Especially when you get up in the higher RPMs. But yeah, like I said, this bike would probably be a great bike to buy if you're moving up from like a 300 or 250, because it's a big bike, but it makes the power, like I said, at a higher RPM, so you don't got to worry about it getting away from you on the bottom end. And like I said, because it has the rider, the blip assist and stuff like that, it makes it harder for you to make a mistake when taking off, of giving it too much throttle or whatever, which is actually really nice. I had plenty of time. I should have went. The gauge on this is nice. It has a little bit more features in the grom. You got your traction control, your temperature gauge, your mileage. It gives you your range, your miles per gallon you're getting. A couple other things, you know, I think two trip odometers, I think. A bunch of other little features. Well, that figures. I pull out to the middle and now all the traffic in the world is coming. There's been a lot of accidents around here of people in this exact same situation. Cars will turn and not see, you know, they'll turn into this lane and not even notice the motorcycle's there, and they run them over. Kind of messed up. Yeah, this bike definitely gets up and moves. That's for sure. And once you get to speed, like 65, whatever, it cruises really nice. The RPMs are not that high. They're not that high. And that's another funny thing about this bike is gear ratios, and it must be, in the gearbox must be really close, because you could be in just about any gear at any speed and the bike will still have power to pull. Like I could be doing 25 in 6th gear and hammer on the throttle and it'll still pull like crazy. Actually, kind of funny how I bought this bike. I just woke up the one day and was like, oh, I want to go look at some bikes and see what they got. So I drove out to my usual dealership and started looking around, and I seen this, and I really like the style of it. It, you know, it kind of reminds me of like the Grom Z125 look, but a lot bigger for sure. And this bike, unlike my 300F, this bike actually feels like a big bike. It doesn't feel like I'm riding a bigger Grom. This bike, you know you're not riding the Grom. Because I think if I didn't have the traction control on, I think the power would definitely get away from you pretty quick. But because of the traction control this thing has, it makes it, like I said, a very easy bike to get used to. And as my riding gets better and I get more sure of myself, I'm sure I'll start moving, you know, to traction control 2 and then 1 and then, you know, off. I drove this with it off already, and honestly, I couldn't really tell a difference, but I do notice every once in a while when I'm driving it now, like I'll give it a little bit too much gas and you'll see the traction control light coming on. So it does work. It's just that I didn't really notice it doing anything when I rode it normally. So it's just a good thing to have on, just in case you make a small mistake or a big mistake or something. It'll probably save your butt. This bike has a KYB front, I guess, forks, and same with the rear. I think they're just rebound adjustable or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look again. Or you could adjust the firmness on them or something. I think that's what it is. But the stock settings is what most people say is best, so that's pretty much where I'm leaving it at right now. Maybe someday I'll mess around with it a little bit and see if how it rides a little softer or something. Because right now the suspension's kind of stiff, kind of like I like a Corvette, you know, the suspension on a Corvette's stiff because that's like sport suspension. The one thing I do notice about this bike is you do lean forward. Just your seating position is mostly upright, but you do lean forward a little bit, which kind of puts a lot of weight on my hands, and I have trouble with my left hand all the time, getting sore. I notice with this bike, but I also noticed that with some of my other bikes too. I have so. So you're definitely leaning enough to put a little bit of pressure on your hands, apparently. But yeah, this bike will get you in trouble real quick because it gets up to speed so fast. You could easily find yourself doing, you know, like 30-40 miles over the speed limit really easy, and it actually feels like you're going slower because the bike rides pretty smooth. You know, the engine doesn't vibrate or nothing when it's at higher speeds. So your speed kind of fools you how fast you're actually going. And that is something I'm worried about, because I really don't want any tickets. Something right now I can't afford in my life. Pretty much at my limit right now of my expenses. My work has slowed down because of this dumb coronavirus thing, so who knows if we'll ever work overtime again anytime soon. I'm basically losing $300 every 2 weeks right now that I was pretty well used to having. I mean, I don't make money making YouTube. I'm not a rich YouTuber like some people are, and I don't ever really plan on being. I don't have the time to put the time into making the videos as a lot of people do. And I don't have good editing software. I'm just using some generic shit offline that's free, so I can't add all the features like they do and stuff like that. But yeah, I hope you guys can hear that. This bike's it keeps pulling. It's crazy. No matter what gear you're in, the thing just pulls and pulls and pulls. I wanted to wave to that guy, but I was in a turn and I didn't want to take my hands off the handlebars in the turn. That would just be bad. The thing that's funny is this bike makes power in the upper RPM ranges, and I don't even think I've ever hit that high of RPMs yet to actually feel the torque this thing makes yet. And I don't think I want to. Because I imagine if you wanted to feel the torque at that, well, I could be in a lower gear, I guess, to feel the torque, but when you're in 6th gear, you'd probably be over 100 miles an hour before you would hit the torque range on this thing. In 6th gear. I ordered an exhaust for this. It's a Hurricane exhaust, whatever. I don't know. The guy didn't ship it out yet, so I'm kind of worried about it. I hope I didn't get ripped off. But it's coming from Brazil, I guess. And I'm praying to God the guy didn't rip me off, because he said he was going to ship it out Friday and send me a tracking number. And of course he didn't, so I don't know what's going to happen. But anyways, guys, I think I'm going to cut this video out here. If you have any questions on the bike, post them in the comments. I'm going to try to do a photo collage. Hopefully I did it at the beginning of the video. So, we'll see. Alright, I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.